All right, so I think we really are going to start rocking and rolling. If everyone would come in and close the doors, we don't want anybody else to hear us. It's all secret meeting. Secret meeting. Welcome to the first men's health talk that I'm giving. I usually have all inclusive, it's men and women, but I decided, okay, let me see how many men show up. Let me see how vested in you are in your health. So it looks like there's only a handful of you, maybe a little more. But too bad for the others who aren't here, because we've got two special guests, three special guests. And hopefully 4. There was supposed to be one more. I don't think he's here. And the reason I called upon these guys to come was to show some of what their whole transformation was about, or what they went through, and how they achieved their health. And so we have different people doing different things, or coming from different segments of life, or corners, their own corners of the world, but they're part of us here. And I will introduce Kyle and Daryl and Nathan in a little bit. I want to thank all the technical people here, Mike and Mitch and Jason and of course Makranji, who came all the way from India just to hear us tonight. Just to hear me. He's such a diehard fan of mine. And my OM team, Christina, who was part of the filming and all that, and Diane and Mary, my wonderful folks here. So, okay, so how many women are here in the audience? And there's a couple of women, let's see. Okay, you're women too, yeah. Okay. So this is pertinent to women as well. And, it's not just male exclusive, but it's important that I get to the point with the men, because men and women are different. I think we know that, right? So it's a time right now, it's a time of true uncertainty as far as the health of all of us. We all know that there's been a lot going on in the past few years, actually the past century, with respect to our health, and it doesn't look like health is on the upswing for the most part. Welcome. But we want it to be. We want to change it. We want to turn that around, because unless we do, we're looking at inevitable prevalence of chronic illness, which is just getting more and more complicated. And the incidence of disease, for instance, the incidence of cancer diagnosis is up tremendously right now, and men and women. But in terms of certain body parts, women do not have prostates, and men do. And this gland is going to be one of the key glands that gets hit as men age, or senesce. It is not something that men are looking forward to. I don't think any one of you here want to have a problem with your prostate. And if you do now, it's not a surprise. It's going to happen. 1 in 6 men will have a diagnosis that is not favorable as far as the prostate is concerned. So it's one area that we'll touch upon, but I will cover various other issues which are so important to the male vitality. And what do I mean by that? Okay, so I'm going to just, outline here what I'll be talking about in the next, hour and a half or so. And interspersed, I will have the guests that I asked to come, and they were gracious enough to spend some time here with us and bring their families, their wives, their children. And my son is one of the guests, and he's got his mother here. But anyhow, so this is an important concept. It's an important aspect of our life. You know, what do we mean by vitality? And the word vitality is coming from the old languages, one of the oldest languages, but not the oldest language, Latin. We have vitalatum, vitalitatum. Anybody here take Latin in school? Yeah, I did. It's a very kind of dead language, but I shouldn't say that. No disrespect to Latin. It is actually the mother language for all of the Romance languages, including Italian, which is my heritage. But there are many languages where we have different words for life, right? Or life force, and so forth. But we'll just take this word vitality. Since most of you know and use the English language, you would understand English. So it's basically a manifestation of health. And what is health? It has been defined in so many ways, and I cannot spend time defining all the different ways and interpretations. But we'll take the WHO in 1948 came out with it as the state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. But it's gone further, and in 1986, they added, it's a resource for everyday life, not the objective of living. It's a positive concept emphasizing social and personal resources as well as physical capabilities. And the ancient poet Virgil once said that health is wealth. If we turn that around, is it true? What do you think? That's a rhetorical question. That's up to you to answer. But we can talk about that. So these people are sitting in, obviously, a yoga posture. Anyone here not do yoga? You're all, how about you, Mitch?
I do, actually.
Okay, good. I'm just asking. And you, Jason? With the kids?
Not as much as I should.
Okay. Okay, so vitality for your life, vigor and physical energy. That's really what it comes down to. That vim, vigor, that zest, that punch, that libido, that zest. So many different adjectives we could give to this word vitality, which is a noun, in case you didn't notice. Okay, how do we get this? Through balance in our life. That's really the only way. But what is the way to balance? So there are different ways of doing it. So these are some of the things that I'm listing here that probably should be what you're striving for, what you're working on, or what comes naturally to you. Mindfulness, being mindful. You know, what does that mean? We have a mind, but what does that mean? What is a mind? It's hard to define. There are different cultures that define it in their own way. Just for the sake of tonight, your mind is something that you have control over, and you can either take it away, or you can have it right here, right now, in front of you, and make decisions with it. What is mindlessness? People in the state of meditation, the mind sort of gone, you know. They have nothing. It's like an emptiness without this obstruction called the mind. Every cell has a mind. And so every cell is affected by every other cell. And if we are thinking certain thoughts, every cell of our body, every little unit or subunit of the body has a mind, and it's minding what the next mind is doing. So there's a whole collective mind. So what happens here, and what we usually, the proverbial up here, the mind in this space called the head, it's not just the head. It's the entire being. And it's interactive. And it's not a physical thing at all. It's completely aphysical. It's non-physical. And it's vibratory, it's waves. Your mind can be here, it can be 100 million miles away. It is not a physical thing. As a matter of fact, neither are you or I. We are not really physical in the truest sense. Does anybody know how solid we are? Any idea? Come on, you can come up with, come on, you went to school. How about 0.0001 solid? So that makes us what? Space, empty space. Right, that's a trick. No, that's the reality of it. So mindfulness, putting it together, understanding it, actually it takes some wisdom, some degree of wisdom. And what is wisdom? Something that this collective attainment of understanding, true understanding is wisdom. So some people, they don't have really true wisdom until they're 90 years old. Some have it young. And if a young person, a child, can be sitting in stillness with the mind controlling it, and then actually let the mind go, it's like gone. Sitting in such silence and peace. And again, I'm just saying these things because these are going to be important concepts for you as you strive for the best of health. Because if you can let things go by being mindful of letting it go, you've got a better life ahead. And discipline is part of that. So as men, you must be mindful of how you operate, the space you occupy, right? So you're kind of space, but there's space around you, and it's all space. But there is something. This is manifest. So we have to be aware. And our awareness of that and that is important. Awareness of how we execute motion, execute eating, execute working, execute sleeping, exercising, and loving, doing loving things for others. So discipline is knowing what we're doing and being conscious of how it's done and respecting ourselves as we do it. The key to balance is to know these things, to be aware of them, to be reminded of them. Reminders are always coming. Look at nature around you. You can see there's an order to nature. So that order is just naturally part of us. We are nature. We're part of nature. It's not that we're separate. We have to respect the order of nature. And when we break nature, we break ourselves. We have to be disciplined. Respect nature, respect the self. You are nature. And all these other things just fall into place when we do that. When we have the respect to prepare food that has been grown properly, that has been procured with love and has been prepared with love and then taken in and eaten with love and respect. This is balance. And when we do these things, we don't have disease. which comes very easily now. It comes very easily. So all of this really becomes a spiritual motion or motions, movements. And we have to understand that we are not permanent as we are. We change. And we change as every minute that's going by. I was a different person when I walked in the door, as were you. We are different right now. We have breathed in different air, and the exchange that's going on in our 37 trillion human cells is moving, and the 100 or so trillion bacteria, viral, fungal things that are going, they're all moving and changing. Basic structures are there, but everything's moving and changing. So we're a dynamic entity, every one of us, and we're all exchanging with each other. And if the one next to you has taken good care of him or herself, that reflects back to you, and you the same, inter-exchange. If you are in good company, it can only do you well. If you are in negative company, you choose to be, or you start something, you start a ruckus, a riot, you become unruly, you start drinking things you shouldn't, taking things you shouldn't, becomes out of order, out of balance. Right? So all of that is going to be your means to improving and enhancing your vital world, your vitality. So I came up with this little acronym that reflects what's important. And it's very easy to remember, right? We're talking about vitality. So I think you can think of vitals, not difficult, mnemonic. And everything I've written, it's not all inclusive, but I've used the words that begin with whatever the letter is from the beginning. And these are all things that are actively part of you. Actively part of you, right? And I have here included, because we're talking about predominantly, we're talking about all people, but we're talking about men. And men, you have something called a spermatic cord, you have a scrotum. Does anybody know what a spermatic cord is? Well, it's kind of like, the rope that holds the gems, if you will, the substance, okay? So the cord is very much, it is part of your vitality. It has to be maintained, and the tissues are maintained when we feed it well, when we take care of ourselves. This has nerves, blood vessels, and other like ligamentous type of tissue to hold the scrotum in place, okay? Without your cord, I don't think things would go too well. So, your blood vessels. The vasculature is really another word for blood vessels. So, these have to be respected. They have to be taken in, whether it's a vitamin or you're ingesting something, or it is a structure that I'm talking about. Okay, we have to respect these things. They all go together, every bit of this. So if you keep this in mind, these are the things that make us strong and vibrant and healthy, provided that we do the right things for them. And the SA node, the sinoatrial node, is your pacemaker. It is the pacemaker in your heart. It's on the right side of your heart in the atrium, the right atrium, and it sets the pace. So when your heart is going dub-dub, 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 It's the sinoatrial node that does it. And that is living nerve tissue. And when that goes wacko, you have something called atrial fibrillation. And that's a very common diagnosis. And that's when the top of the heart starts to literally wiggle jiggle. It no longer has a very nice rhythmic pace. It's out of pace, it's out of rhythm. So, these things are tissues in the body that must be taken care of. You must be mindful of them. And how you eat, how you behave, how you play or not play, how you sleep, the things that you do in your life will all impact that. Now, that's not to say there aren't external forces that are coming in perhaps beyond your control. We'll get into that in a minute. Let's first look at the men of different ages. Now, I have here a young man, and I have here very young people, much younger than all of us. And we have to, understand that at the different decades, the different time periods, there are going to be different things happening. And this is just a fact of life. So the peak testosterone and all that is going to happen in a man's 20s to about 30, early 30s. And then things start to decline. But that would be if you're doing absolutely nothing to make it all, hold on to it and retard its declination. We don't want to retard that. We don't want to allow for a continuation. Did I go off? Am I dead over here? We don't want the testosterone to continue to decline at a rapid pace, so that will only happen if we do what's right. And we'll talk about that in a moment. So testosterone is going to be at its peak, so that's when you have your strongest, biggest, whatever, drives, right? Your libido.
Your microphone definitely went out, but the good news is this room is beautiful. We can hear everything.
Okay, I'm good. Good, thank you. So testosterone is a product of a number of precursor hormones that are coming out of combination of the pituitary gland in your brain, the testicles in the scrotum, and the adrenals. This is an endocrine axis. There's a lot of talk back, forth. So when testosterone is needed, more is needed, like if you need more energy, there's a calling for it. And there's a higher function that calls for it. So the testosterone will go forward if you are calling for it, and it will come and be made, increased by the need. And it could be an emotional thing, where you find somebody you're falling for. There's something that goes on. The chemistry is right. Testosterone. And the various, that sequence of activity that goes on after that is going to be at its highest, peaking at this time. Again, I don't know if this is done, but anyhow. So the precursor hormones, they will be something to consider as you get older and as your testosterone goes down and it's not quite so good anymore, and we start talking about how it can be made better. Yes?
I've been reading that nowadays men losing between 30 to 60% testosterone by the age of 35.
Mm-hmm.
It's due to the environment.
Yes, exactly. So that the environmentals, right now in particular, are one of our biggest problems. And that's going to be because of the electromagnetic forces, the pollutants that are coming out of industrial complexes, the pollutants that are sprayed and disseminated throughout, the various things that are going on up in the sky, these trails of aluminum and barium and other metals, in case you didn't know that. These are not helping anybody's hormones. The food industry, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, now it's working. Okay, thank you. Yeah, because it becomes a problem if they can't hear me through the video. So the various environmentals are definitely going to impact our testosterone. Now, testosterone is something that's found in both men and women. Men have the higher levels, women have a lower level. Nonetheless, it is useful for the same reasons: strength, virility, drive, aggressiveness, and for the most part. And men and women, it's the inverse with estrogen. Men have lower estrogen, which is more of a feminine energy hormone, and women have higher, men have lower. And there are a lot of xenoestrogens, things that act like estrogen in the environment. Most of these chemicals that we come across are acting and displacing estrogen in women's bodies, doing harm in women's bodies, but kind of accumulating in men's bodies and leading to alterations and dysfunctions in their hormones. So there's a lot of hormonal disruptions and disturbances that are going on as a result of environmental pollutants. And this is a problem. And we have to be activists to lessen the problems, to change these things, to make these things lessen or go away or do something better. So it's a challenge and a half, but we have to get on board. So anyhow, so as you go into your 30s, here's where things really have to be thought about. Here's where the mindfulness comes in. Because when you're in your 20s, how many guys in their 20s are thinking about being mindful? Right? I don't have to say any more about that. It's just go get 'em. You're in a go get 'em mode, or go get her, or go whomever. By the time you reach your 30s, your early 30s, you're going to have to start thinking about where you're going with your life. Maybe I should make better choices and this and that and so forth. And if I'm not making right choices, I end up doing bad things, which is only going to aggravate the testosterone process more and more. So you want to keep that testosterone going. You should be exercising like a fiend. You should be exercising every day. That includes weight training, strength, and endurance, cardiovascular, all that, to keep the growth hormone, which is one of the precursors that gets involved in making testosterone possible. You want to keep that going. You want to keep growth hormone going. And it's not going to happen if we smoke, drink, and sit around and play with cell phones and computers, and on it goes. So this is a critical time in your 30s. And if we have any 30-year-olds here, yes, you've got to think, guys, what are you doing to make it the best it's going to be now and tomorrow and 10 years from now? You've got to make the best choices. And if you are, again, still deliberating and keeping up with bad habits, it's time to break them. Now, the sooner you break them, the better. So this is a very important time, a man in his 30s. So then we get into the 40s. We've got more troubles that are going to come if we continue on this pretty miserable path of Oh, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to exercise. I'm going to stay indoors. I'm going to drink. I'm going to smoke. I'm going to take drugs because the doctor gave them to me. My cholesterol's too high. My blood pressure's too high, and so on and so forth. I eat a lot. I eat a lot of meat. So we can mitigate. This can change, okay? Start making changes in your diet, making changes about what you're doing. If you need to go to a therapist, go. If you need to see someone like yours truly, I do this on a regular basis, and help guiding men and women in their quest to be better, to be healthier. Because it's not going to happen in an average conventional office. It's just the way it is. I know, I've been there, I know what it's all about. Trained in conventional medicine, and it is not about mitigating and taking good care and let me hold your hand and let me show you how to do it. No, that I had to learn in addition to what I learned in medical school. And I'm glad I did. So the 50s, we have cardiovascular problems. A lot of things are going to really start taking their effect, and it'll become more and more apparent. Weight gain, the middle gets bigger, man gets more tired, fatigue is setting in, so on and so forth. And then the testosterone just gets lower and lower because it's a vicious cycle. So this is where all that, the vitality is just going. But we don't want that, right? So I've gone right up to the hundreds, and prostate is the thing that we're going to have to start really focusing on. What is it that we can do to avert prostate disease? Because it's going to come along with the diabetes, along with or insulin resistance, vision changes, heart problems, and on it goes. But these are because of your life choices. They need to be different. They need to change. And as soon as you start making changes, you will see that your whole program changes. The way you feel, it can get better. So there is hope, and it is there without question. I've seen it. It's been wonderful for some men. It's been a dramatic life change. And speaking of life change, I'm going to stop here for a minute or two. And I'm going to introduce Kyle Davis. And he's going to come up and he's going to talk a little bit about what he's done and his little story of his life change and the amazing program that he follows. So, Kyle,
Put this on?
please, yeah, if you would. I'm all tied up.
That's all right.
I want to put that in here. Yes. So, tell us about your age.
Hello?
and what you
Okay.
went through.
Yeah.
Kyle went through his own transformation, and he happens to be a vegan. So, any of you had thoughts that were kind of like cringing on the thought of a vegan? He'll tell you what he went through and why he is.
And just a fair warning, I will not be pushing veganism on anyone, so don't stress out about that. Really, my fitness, diet, health journey started at 29. I became a massage therapist, and I had more and more people asking me what they need to do with their bodies to get better. And I felt like an imposter because I didn't know what to do with my own body. That kind of spurred a fitness journey that I went on. I joined a CrossFit gym, which was pretty intense at the time for somebody who never took care of themselves. Dr. Maria had up earlier of the 20s and the 30s. My alcohol and drugs and everything wrong was in my 20s. I lived a horrible lifestyle. It was fast food every night. It was drinks and going to the bar and meeting with my friends. Anything you could possibly imagine, but health was not on the radar, not even close. Come 29 years old, I realized I didn't know what it meant to take care of my body. I was unhealthy. I felt miserable. I had heartburn, indigestion. I was taking Prilosec daily. I couldn't even drink a Gatorade without getting horrible heartburn. My diet was just as sad as it possibly could be. Through starting to work out at the CrossFit gym, I realized that there was a lot more work that I needed to do. I was actually seeing a lot of gains. I was getting stronger. I was starting to see a body that I've always wanted to see, but I realized my nutrition wasn't quite there either. Typically, in what you hear in weightlifting and this day and age is protein powders, protein this, protein that, eat more meat, eat more dairy, all of these things to gain weight. And if you're looking at me now, I'm a small guy. I always have been. My average weight through my adult life, and I'm 41 right now, has been about 150 pounds, 155 pounds. I am currently about 165 pounds. It's almost impossible for me to gain weight. It's like the hardest thing. I am the opposite of what most people have. They struggle to get the weight off. I struggle to put it on and keep it on. So I need to exercise. I have to exercise. If I don't, if I take a week off, I will lose 5-6 pounds easily. Not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before, I got really sick. I got the flu so badly. I didn't eat for 5 or 6 days. I lost 17 pounds in about a week and a half. I had to completely start over on my workout. Where I'm at today, I am 2 years in. I have completely changed things around. From my early 30s and starting in the gym and everything, I would go to the grocery store and I would pick up 3 pounds of sausage, 4 pounds of ground turkey, and 5 pounds of ground beef. That was health to me. I would mix all of that together with some rice, and I would eat that. I would eat a dairy whole milk protein shake. I mean, what I was doing to my body on the inside, it might have looked good on the outside, but I was miserable on the inside. The bloating, the indigestion, the gas pains, just absolutely everything. I was finally getting the weight and the muscle that I wanted, but at the sacrifice of how I was feeling on the inside. Fast forward a little bit more, in my mid-30s, early 30s, I had my first daughter. And my wife and I, we struggled. She had a lot of gas pains. And what they teach you when you're breastfeeding primarily is start cutting things out and see what works. So we started cutting everything out of our diet. And eventually we finally came down to there was nothing left to cut out. And we were like, well, let's try this vegan thing for a while. That kind of got us on to this plant-based lifestyle. Fast forward a little bit more, and I kind of fell off the workout, still eating plant-based, and I felt better on the inside, but I felt weaker on the outside. Like, I still wasn't finding that balance, and I needed that balance. I was searching for it. I was desperate for it because doing massage or anything else, I was struggling. My arms would hurt constantly. My neck was in a bad place. I saw a picture of my posture one day, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, completely like this. There was no strength in me at all. And getting to the point where I'm at now, through still being vegan, eating plant-based, and on top of it, even right now, I don't know what time it is, 6 o'clock or so, I've now been fasting for 22 hours. I fast almost every single day. I break my fast usually at about 2 o'clock on the days that I work out, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. My workouts usually involve some type of free weights. So I'm doing resistance training 3 days a week. Typically, the movements that we know are best for our body and the ones that I can do safely. Because my idea of what fitness is has changed in my 40s. I wasn't like I was in my 30s. I was eager and excited about it, but I'm also looking at it now like I don't want to get hurt at this age. I don't want to have a surgery that slows me down. I don't want to have anything. So how can I be smarter about my fitness? How can I be smarter about my goals altogether? And I have found different ways to do that. I try to take care of my body, not only mentally, spiritually, but also physically in a way that fits me best. And I think that's where I've been on my path to is, and I think the question that always comes to mind is suffering. Are you suffering? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? Are you struggling to move? Are there aches and pains that pop up all the time? Like, what does that feel like? And that suffering, that pain, that takes you away from this present moment. And if you're not present, you're not available to life. And I want to be available for life. I want to be present and watch my kids grow. I want to be there to help people in my own work in massage. Like, I want to be available for life. And I can't be there if I'm trapped in the pain cave, because all you're thinking about is pain all the time. Oh, this is killing me. This hurts. Like, and then on top of it, what do you start doing? You start outsourcing your health. I'm going to go, I just need to see this doctor. Or maybe if I get this pill, this will help me. All of those things that start to come when the question is, just like everything else, it comes from within. Peace, love, happiness, health, that's an inside job. Nobody else can give that to you. Everything that she had up earlier, the discipline, that's why I fast. You want discipline in your life? Stop yourself from eating when everything in your soul is telling you, I am starving. Please feed me. Like, that to me is discipline. That is a mental discipline that drives me. I wake up every morning before the sun comes up and I am outside. It can be 32 degrees. And I am out there barefoot, grounding to the earth and connected to the earth, watching the sunrise, getting good light energy into my eyes, getting my day started in a way that I am focused and I'm ready to take on anything. Because when you start in the morning, what can happen? The rest of the day could happen. It could all completely fall apart. But guess what? I kicked butt first thing in the morning. I showed up for myself. Like, that's what I needed in my life. I needed that discipline. I needed to show up for myself. I needed to take my health into my own hands. And when I did that, everything changed. Everything felt better. Now I have the balance. The heartburn is gone. None of the indigestion is happening. I don't have any issues whatsoever, except for maybe being a little bit sore from working out here and there. But I take care of that with yoga. Tuesdays and Thursdays are my yoga days, and Saturdays. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I do yoga, and I do more focused exercises on what am I lacking? Where am I lacking? Typically, it's my back, my neck, my glutes. I've never been fired before. These areas are areas I try to focus on to build strength, because when you're strong, you're not weak. When you're not weak, you're not in pain. And that's what I see all the time with people in massage. I'd be a fool to not take these things, especially in this area. It's a little bit more of an older clientele that I see here. And it's like I'm watching the future in front of me. I'm seeing people come in with these aches and these pains and these problems. And if I don't identify this now as a 40-year-old, what's going to happen down the road? I mean, I want to be in my 80s and 90s doing yoga. That's when I want to start slowing down. I don't want to start in my 50s. I don't want to have all of these problems that I see in not only my peers and my friends, but in some of my family members that are really struggling, and they're my age already. I don't want to be that. I want to be the example that you can do these things, that you can, just through plants, find a way to really bring a lot of health into your life. And if you're looking for the magic pill, it's in the earth. It's in the plants. I put these things in my body and they clean everything for me. I don't have to worry about anything else. They do it for me. My typical day, I fast till 2 o'clock. I break with a protein shake. It's a vegan protein shake. It's got so much good organic health in there. It's crazy. It's so good. I get 42 grams of protein in that shake. I get 792 calories. From there, I usually will eat something a little bit more denser, as far as like beans, lentils, quinoas, mix in any type of sweet potato, vegetables, just anything. But I don't count these things. I'm not like someone, I got to get all of this in every single day. No, I eat till I feel good, but I eat nutrient-dense foods. I try to eat the stuff that we got in the cafe, those types of foods, those things that are feeding you. Because with every bite, you're either fighting or feeding disease. You got to make that decision. What do you want to look like every morning when you wake up? How do you want to wake up? How do you want to feel throughout your day? I want to feel good. I want to feel at peace. I want to feel peace-free, freedom from the pains, the anxieties, the stresses that all come from an unhealthy lifestyle. Because you're always looking for something else. You're always outsourcing your health to somebody else. I am the one that is in control of that. I am taking that power back. I'm not giving it to anybody else because it's not theirs, it's mine. And I am responsible for it. And when you take responsibility for your body, great things happen. And I am living proof of that. I'm nothing special. I don't do anything crazy. I just take care of myself in the best way I know I can. Thank you.
all his protein through plants. And I want him to tell you what his protein intake is per day.
So generally, I follow a lot of plant-based people that say to build lean muscle, especially as a plant-based eater, you need about anywhere from 1.8 to 2.3 grams of protein per kilogram of weight. So I'm about 165 pounds. That math comes out to about 135. That's a little high for me, especially for somebody who fasts. I'm usually trying to get right around that 100 to 115 range. And I know with certain foods that I can easily get that without a doubt. If I'm not exceeding that number, I'm definitely hitting that bare minimum. And I'm not struggling to put on weight. Like I said, this year alone, I put on 20 pounds. And it doesn't mostly all the time look like that, but that's 20 pounds of muscle I'm putting on. I don't have any fat. There's nothing there. You know, it's muscle. So I'm getting the protein, I'm getting the nutrients I need, and that shows up in the way I feel and the way I look. And like I said, it's easy. It's easy if you're getting nutrient-dense foods. Not because if you go vegan, you can go the crappy processed vegan. You can eat the stuff that's not good for you. That's easy to do. It's easy to fall into that trap. But you're in the same boat as if you were a meat eater. You're eating crappy processed foods. Like you have to put the good stuff back in, and you got to sprinkle it in a lot.
Wonderful. Any questions that any other questions you have for Kyle?
Yes.
I've got a number of physical illnesses, diabetes, I'm overweight, heart disease. I had a recent stroke. I have a cardiologist at the VA. They follow normal regimen, what the AMA would consider normal. And he had told me some time ago, I didn't take his advice. I should have before I had more things happen. But he said cut out. He said basically eat beans, greens, mushrooms, onions, and berries for dessert. And I mentioned that to my daughter. My daughter is she's an RN and very much into alternative health style foods and exercise. And she suggested I not do that because I had a terrible, and I still have a terrible diet. It's basically what you were describing before in your 20s. I'm still doing it in my 70s. And so she said I should not do it because it would be like jumping off into cold water. It would be a bad thing to do unless I did it gradually. I'm just wondering how to do that.
I think Dr. Maria would have the best advice on that, but for me, I would starting slow isn't a bad thing, but like at any time, like when are vegetables bad? Like it's never a bad thing. So just try to start looking for those meals that you usually like, because the best vegetable is the one that you're going to eat. You know, you can try to complicate it and get all of these other things that are out there, but which ones do you normally like, and just eat more of those. And try for a healthier salad. Try for a healthier meal. Maybe it's 1 day a week, and then, okay, this isn't too bad. Now let me try 2 days a week. Let me try 3 days a week. It is tough, and I think that's the one thing, and it's the same thing with working out. You have to find something you enjoy, because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do it. You might stomach through it for 30 days or 2 months or something like that. But at the end of the day, if you're not enjoying it and you're not enjoying the flavors or the things that are coming through, or you're not enjoying the workout, you probably won't stick to it. You know, so really look at your diet. Like what do you know is healthy in your diet, and try to get more of that in. Like what else, how else could I add this in? And on top of it, like the internet is a blessing for a lot of things and a curse for a lot of others. But there are so many plant-based athletes out there that have endless recipes on delicious foods that you can put together, or just come here. Like this is a great start. You can taste it. You can see what the flavors are like. Because what I have found is that we don't necessarily always miss the meat. We miss the spices. It's the way that things are flavored. You know, and when they're when the flavors are there, you don't feel like you're missing anything. And I mean, tofu is a great thing. Like it absorbs any flavor you want to throw in there. I usually use like amino acids on my tofu, soak it in that, and you get a ton of flavor out of there. And that's what we're usually looking for. So start with things like that. I mean, even lentils, you can make lentil tacos. You know, that could be the prime, source of protein inside of that taco, and then all the same dressing, because like the peppers are good, onions are good, all of those things are good. Just throw that in there with it. Now you have a lentil taco with the seasonings, and it's right there, and it tastes the same, and it's just as delicious, and it's way healthier for you, and you can have that peace of mind that says, I'm doing something good for my body, and I don't have to stress about it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, you're very
Thank
welcome.
you so much. All right, thank you. And Elise, thank you for being here with the children. He has a beautiful family, and obviously, he's not having any problems as far as his vitality. Okay? Let's think about this. And, you know, he put in a word for tofu. Everybody, you know, that's like a 4-letter word, a bad word for some people. For me, it's part of my life. It's a big part of my life, even my son. Say a few words about tofu. You want to stand up and say a few words about tofu, Nathan? Anybody here not like tofu? Go ahead, say something. Yes, I'm here with you. Yes. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone.
Go ahead.
I don't know how to work this.
Just talk. Get your hand out of the way. It's stuck on me. That's the
Oh,
problem.
okay, yeah, let me see.
Okay. All right.
I never really used to like tofu, actually. I eat a lot of meat, but I'm trying to cut it down. I'm trying to eat more plant-based because I know it's better for the environment and stuff. I learned that in my AP environmental science class, and my mom, of course. But yeah, tofu, I still don't love it, but I try to just eat it, get through it. You can season it. It'll taste good eventually. You'll get used to it.
You ate about at least a pound of it yesterday. I mean.
Yeah, because it'll taste fine eventually. Yeah, I think tofu is a good alternative. It has a lot of protein, and yeah. Edamame, yeah, a lot of good sources of protein are vegan that I use. And I do like edamame. It's good, and it tastes good.
Soybean.
Yes, it is a soybean.
Right?
That is
Quinoa?
true.
You
No.
with quinoa, yes, you.
Quinoa's good. I like, what else do I like?
What else do you like? Have you had seitan and tempeh?
Seitans. I like Vital Wheat gluten.
Vitamin
That's seitan. It's a good source.
Uh-huh.
I eat a lot of sardines and fish.
Yes.
I don't know if people like that, but I recommend that. I recommend eating more fish in your diet than meat. Well, fish is meat, but it makes you feel better with vegetables and stuff. Is there anything else you want me to say?
No, just to let them know that these are food choices that are good and that you do regularly consume. And
Yeah.
You do eat these bean products, and he eats chole. You eat chickpeas.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Chickpeas is a great source of choline and protein and other vitamins and minerals. So these are also in your diet.
Yeah.
He eats a lot of broccoli and Brussels sprouts and yes.
Yes, really good.
And he plays tennis and he swims and he's very good at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, that's okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I want to talk about some other important things, and then I will invite Daryl up in a bit. So every day I incorporate, and I try to, have Nathan, and because Nathan is home with me now, everybody else is moving on and growing up. I have 3 others, but I want him to eat fermented foods, and so things like kimchi and miso, kombucha, tempeh. These are all very important to add to our diets because we have something called that microbiome that everybody, I think, has heard about, and it is the 2 to 3 pounds of little organisms, bacteria mainly, that inhabit our bodies, mainly in the gut, and these things are making us live. They are really hosting us. We are not hosting them. They outdo us by threefold. I mean, they're 100 trillion thereabouts in the microbiome, and our human cells are approximately 37 trillion. So we have to feed those microbiome critters, those little guys and gals inside of us. And men, you need this, you need this, you need this. And just to eat a pickle here and there is not going to cut it. Okay? You do things that make sense. Sauerkraut, things that are not pasteurized would be better raw. And if you make it, if you or your partner, whomever's cooking in the house, preparing, you should have these things. There's something called natto, which is a very, very healthy food. It is a Japanese, it's actually a slimy food, but it's one of the healthiest foods on earth. And it is offering tremendous nutrition, especially vitamin K and protein and so forth. So these are just some of the things I've listed as fermented, anything that's cultured that will add to your own culture. You have a terrain in here with a lot of bacteria, and they need to be fed and to be repopulated because we gain them, lose them, gain them, lose them. Okay, they come and go. But we want the best. And some of the best bacteria that have been found, and particularly the first one on that list, the bifido, people who are sick, who are unwell, who are dying, have very low, if any, bifidobacteria. It is that which allows us to thrive. And we need it, and we get it through smart eating. So always include in your diet fermented, nicely cultured food. If it's a yogurt, some are plant-based, whichever you like. I'm an advocate of more plant-based, but if you do other types of yogurt, that's your choice. But please make sure that it is in the diet in some way or form, fermented. Yes?
What do you think of kefir?
Kefir is fine. There's water kefir, there's dairy kefir. You can do whichever you prefer, right? So all good. These bacteria help control pathogenic. We have those which would be more dismembering and altering in our guts. So we don't want E. coli gone awry or some of the other bacteria that live in the gut. And there are many different names in the gut, but we do want to know that either the food we're eating, or if you cannot eat that food for some reason, please take a probiotic on a regular basis that has at least 50 billion cultures, colony-forming units, CFUs, okay? So you want that. Adding vitamins, B-complex, like vitamins A, B, C, D, and E, and foods that have those things in them are the best. If you can get it from the foods, if you can get organic, fresh produce and plants that, coming from wherever, good organic farms, that's where you're going to get a lot of your nutrition. And if you cannot fully satisfy it with the food, please take the supplements. This is the powerhouse of the cell, the mitochondria. Okay. The mitochondria are these little organelles that are basically descendants of bacteria. They come from the original bacteria that had all of this complicated structure in it, and according to science, these have evolved from bacteria and became part of the human cell. So this is where all the energy is made, and if this little organelle is disrupted, and there are thousands of them in each cell, the heart has even more. The heart, the myocytes, that which make the heart pump, because it needs constant energy. There's tremendous amount of mitochondria. If you don't have the right food, if you don't have the right electromagnetics around you, that is gentle, Schumann resonance around you, 7.83 hertz. Instead, no, we have the cell phones with 2.4 gigahertz. That's disrupting the heart. It goes, the cell phone here, in here, it affects the mitochondria. This is not good. We make stupid mistakes, and I'm going to say that outright. Stupid moves, putting a cell phone in a pocket or in here in the groin, which is where I really want to get to, because it's affecting your male function. When you put that live cell phone in your pocket, you have no idea what you're doing. You are changing the structure of the tissue, and you are affecting the sperm and your libido, and you're enhancing mutagenesis, that is cancer production. There is no question about it. You have it, the science is there. Environmentalhealthtrust.org is an excellent resource. You should look it up and see all the science, what cell phone technology is doing to us, what it's doing to the male gonads and the rectum and the intestines and the heart in particular. The brain, I mean, I get the whole body. But if you really want to protect those things that matter tremendously to you, you need to change your ways. And I tell my children, some of them listen, sometimes they're not listening. It's very difficult because they're growing up in it. I didn't grow up with a cell phone. And most of us have not. Now it's just this new thing, and it's always so convenient, and you can't take your hands off of it, and you can't keep it out of your pocket. For goodness sake, it's affecting your everything. It's affecting your everything. Brain function, penis function, rectal function, heart function, everything, lung function. It's really destroying us. It's affecting that organelle in particular. Going right into the cell membrane. All the electromagnetics are pulsating into the cell membranes. No good. No good. So these mitochondria need our mindfulness. They need us to be disciplined and know what we're doing. Shut the cell phone. Put it in airplane mode. Get it off of the body. Do not put it in your bedroom. Get it in another room. Turn off the Wi-Fi at night. Use Ethernet. Get yourself a pair of these. Blue blockers, okay? We have them in different colors. My son wears them. The darker the lens, like the more orange, the more it blocks. If these are clear lenses, it's hardly blocking any of blue ray. Blue ray from these machines is what's destroying us. Blue ray, it's destroying our eyes, it's affecting our brain, it's adding to the mitochondrial disruption, but blue ray is not the only thing. The pulsations coming from the EMF and the cell phone is a problem. That's the even bigger problem, but we want to get these blue blockers. And we should wear them working indoors, particularly in the evening. We should dim our lights, and if you have to work on those things, and I have a wired system in my house, and I have to do work on that thing, but I wear the blockers so I can sleep very restfully at night, because if my blue is blocked from the artificial light, I could sleep. If you're not blocking your blue rays from your cell phones and your equipment at home, your computer, if you don't turn off Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and all that, and you have nothing to block, you've got it all coming at you, and it's disrupting your sleep. It's disrupting everything. Everything. Heart function. The other beautiful thing is that Apple Watch on the phone, whatever the people wear, that has all the gadgets, and it's another cell phone. That's affecting you constantly. The wearables, constantly. So we have to know these things, and I've given you in the handouts, right, Mary, Diane, all of you have gotten some of these handouts. If you did not pick it up, there is information on sleep and how the radiation is affecting you, in addition to also the information on the protein needs and so forth. Okay, so we have to take care of this, because if we don't take care of our mitochondria, we will age faster and we will get to, we'll start living below the earth sooner. Okay, so here are some things that we're going to talk about. Mitigation, okay, very important. Let me see here. And with this, I am going to ask Mr. Darrell Whitehead to come up, please. Darrell is a yoga instructor, recently married to the beautiful lady next to him, Susan. And Darrell is a retired Army veteran? Marine Corps, sorry. Okay, so the man served our country, and he is also a pastor. Am I right? He is a pastor, and he's going to spend a few minutes on talking about how we can help ourselves through yoga. Here you go. Yeah, well, yeah, use that for a moment. I don't know if this is too tight. Hold on. All right. It's good?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Is
Okay.
it good?
Can you hear it?
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay.
That's not a cell phone.
Okay. Again, my name is Darrell Whiteside. I am yoga instructor here for as long as I can remember. Everybody, I'm an ordained minister, and I used to preach. I used to have a church. Before that, I was a counselor working for the state of Florida, counseling children, youth, and family. As I retired, I think in 2014, I started doing yoga. Before that, I was jogging every morning, running up and down the hill in the park, and I lift weights. I lift weights a lot. I got tendinitis in my shoulder, and I got arthritis in my lower back from jogging and from lifting weights. When I turned 60, I thought I would to try something else that wasn't doing the harm to my body. And I was in the gym. I had finished lifting my weights. I was on my way out, and I saw this yoga class. And I was looking in the window trying to figure out, what are they doing? I'd never heard of yoga, never knew anything about it. The lady came out and she invited me in. So I went in and I watched the class. The next day I was in the class trying to do the yoga, and this was just the physical part of it. So I sort of fell in love with it. It helped me with my mental issues, which I came out of Vietnam kind of messed up mentally, but I couldn't tell myself that I had a problem. Eventually, I decided that yoga was for me, and I became a yoga instructor. I wanted to continue working with people, helping people. I stepped down from the pulpit and did my preaching on the mat. To this day, I do that. It's a lot more personal. It's more spiritual for me. I could not find spirituality in church. I found spirituality on the mat. And that's what I really promote. the mental part of yoga. The physical part comes naturally. I've been physical since I was probably 4 years old. But I've fallen in love with what yoga has done for me, and I promote it wholeheartedly. It hurts me that men do not come and do yoga. I don't know why, but they just don't. I'm sure some do, but not enough. The ailments that I have, high blood pressure, I've had problems with my prostate, but I don't feel it, I don't live it, I don't bother with it, because I do yoga every day. Every day I wake up with wanting to do and teach. Fortunately, I'm able to teach yoga every day, so it's like I have people doing the yoga with me. I wasn't able to enjoy yoga doing it by myself. So I would encourage you. I don't know how old you are, I don't know what excuses you have, but you need to join. If you're not joining me on the mat, go somewhere and do yoga. I started out physical, and I fell in love with it because of the physical aspect of it. It was a transition from running up and down the beach and running up and down the street. But it did successfully fulfill my physical needs. But it transitioned into a spiritual thing, a mental thing. And that's what I love about it today. I used to didn't like people. I don't like to talk a lot. Don't bring me no gossip. Don't bring me no trash, because I don't want to hear it. But I've learned to love everybody. It doesn't matter if you love me or not. I'm going to love you. I might not want to be bothered with you, but I'll still love you. So, for me, that's where yoga is spiritual. It's me. It comes from here. It flows out. Some people that might have taken my class, I have 2 people over here that were in my class several years. Yes, ma'am.
Can you show at least one of the asanas to everyone? Maybe they can participate for the next few minutes?
Yeah, if you just want to stand up, I'll do some standing poses. Basically stretching. I'll tell you about grounding yourself in the mat. It's hard to ground yourself into the mat with shoes on, but we'll accept it this time, because you need to feel the earth. You need to feel the ground. You roll your feet into the mat, one toe at a time. The ball of your foot's in the mat, the heel of your foot's in the mat. If you have an arch, don't push the arch into the mat. The arch is there for a reason. Mindfulness comes in automatically. I mean, you need to bring your mind into the process, okay? And so you're pushing your hips, your waistline down into your feet, and your feet into the mat. Grounding yourself. So you can, if you're not going to fall over. Keep your feet about hips width apart. From the waist up, you're lifting your shoulders up toward your ears, pulling your waistline out of your hips. Roll your shoulders back, your shoulder blades together. Bring your chin parallel with the floor. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, release, but keep your chest up. And breathe. Breathe in through your nose, out through your nose. It's okay to breathe through your mouth if you have to, but try not to ever breathe in through your mouth because you might inhale a fly. Lord knows what other things are out there floating around. Serious. That's a serious thing. Okay. So we're just going to stretch. Turn your palms facing out. Push through your feet, bringing the energy all the way up from your toes, up through your legs, and stretching. Feel your waistline pulling up out of your hips, literally. Stretch up, stretch up, stretch up. Turn your palms facing out. Push out, lifting your chest, chin parallel with the sky, and exhale your arms all the way down. For me, yoga is breathing is the most important thing. It's the most important thing in life. Keep your chest lifted. Most important thing in life. Most important thing in yoga. If you stop breathing, where you at? You're dead. Okay? So, learn how to breathe properly. You breathe in through your nose, out through your nose. On an inhale breath, let's do that again. Inhaling up. Stretching up, pulling your waistline out of your hip. If you got any of that overlap, pull it up out of your hip too. Turn your palms facing out, push out, and bring your shoulder blades together, exhaling down. So you want to remember on an inhale, on the upward movements, you're inhaling. On downward movements, you're exhaling. If you can, turn to the side if you can't in front. I want you to turn to the side because I want you to do a forward fold. Inhale your arms up. And your arms are shoulder width apart. Reach up, and you're going to hinge from your waistline, your hips, leaning forward. Soften your knees, bring your chest down on your thighs. Sweep your fingertips across the top of the mat. Bring your arms up behind you. I want to look and see what you're doing. Get them up, as far as you can. Most of you I see, you can't get it up very far. But that's because you don't do it often enough. Come on, bring it down. Exhale down. Fingers come top across the mat. And lift up in front. Straighten your knees and reach up, reach up. Slight back bend. Bending from the waist, the solar plex area, your heart center. Open your head, let your head go back slightly. Open up that throat. Come back to center. Turn your palms facing out. Push out and exhale down. Feel the breathing. Breathe. Hear your breath breathing. Feel the lungs blowing up. Again, the breath is lifesaver. So I focus on the breath. We're going to do that one more time. This time I want you to come up on your toes. As you inhale with your arms up, come up on your toes. Reach up, reach up, reach up. Turn your palms out and exhale down. Bring your heels down. Bring your arms down. Do a couple of more things. Side bend, so you can face the front again. Shoulders back, chest lift, chin parallel with the floor. Keep the chest lifted. You can feel the power when you breathe into your chest. Feel the strength. Chin parallel with the floor. Take your right hand, turn it out. The left hand is up against your left thigh. You're going to inhale your right arm up. Up, up, up. Reaching up, pulling your waistline out of your hips. Slide your left hand down your leg. Kick your right hip out. Side bend to the left. Your right arm should be parallel to your right ear. If you breathe in this pose, few times you'll be able to go deeper and stretch further down. I don't want you to hurt yourself, so we're going to come out of it. Come on and raise your right hand up, sweep it through the sky, and bring it down to the right side. Plant your right hand on the right side of your leg, turn your left palm out, inhale it out and up. Reaching up, reaching up. Once you start to bend over, you exhaling. Kicking your left hip out. And inhale back up. And exhale down. I'll do one more pose. And then I'm going to let you alone. Bring your arms out to the side. Push your arms out. Feel the stretch in your elbow, the inner elbow, the outer elbow, and your shoulders. Your arms should be shoulder height. Again, you're keeping your chin parallel to the floor. Try to lift your chest. Your lungs at this point are compromised, but you want to lift them, your chest anyway, stretching and strengthening your lungs. Take a deep inhale breath. And as you exhale, twist your body at the waist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale back to center. While you have your arms here, rotate from the shoulder. Small rotations, pivoting, pivoting. Make it bigger, a little bigger, a little bigger. Keep breathing, bigger. Make it bigger. Make it bigger, big circles. Just make it smaller and smaller. Coming to a pivot. Hold it still. Push out, stretch out. Lift your chin, get back into the right posture, and do the opposite direction. Pivot, 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 pivot. Little bigger, little bigger, little bigger, little bigger. And a little bigger, and a little bigger, and do your thing. Don't fly away. Feel it in your shoulders. Bring the circle smaller, 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 smaller. Come to still, turn your palms up. Exhale, inhale your arms up. Bring your palms together. Pull your waistline out of your hips. Feet pressed into the mat. Press your palms together. Slowly exhale your palms down the heart center. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, you feel like new people, huh? Okay, we have a few minutes. I'd like to finish up a little bit here. I know I'm kind of running out of time, but I do want to bring out some points to you before we go. All right. So, yoga is absolutely wonderful. One of the oldest exercises there is, and yoga really is, it's beyond the physical, as Daryl said. It's a spiritual experience. But most people are using it as a physical exercise. As you can see, we have some pictures of Daryl and Kyle. So less exposure to wireless, so on and so forth, the cell phone story, out of your pockets, into tote bags. People are using infrared saunas to detox. You might want to get one for your home. We have a sauna here that was not working. We're going to have to get it replaced. So we apologize for that. So there's a lot to do. There's a lot of mitochondrial and/or body detoxification, mitigations. Sound frequencies are very, very helpful. And if anybody knows the solfeggio frequencies, again, that's a whole subject in and of itself. These are powerful healing frequencies, and the higher the number, the higher the frequency, the higher you go in terms of vibration, and really into a whole transcendent position. But some of the frequencies, like 528, is very commonly used. You want to enhance your heart and relationships, your heart chakra, 639. So that number, 6, 3, and 9, very powerful numbers. So have fun. Use the sun. The sun is going to give you infrared, near and far, blue rays, UVA, B, and C. And we need all of them, every one of them. So all the baloney about blocking the sun with sunblock or trying to just block it with whatever nonsense is going on in the sky, it's garbage, in plain English. I've written to Ron DeSantis, and after I wrote to him about those things in the sky, I hadn't seen anything for about a week and a half. Then maybe a day, here, there, and I haven't seen anything since. So keep your fingers crossed, keep your prayers going, because that needs to stop. Okay, that needs to stop. So we cannot block the sun. The sun is life. It's complete life to us. Junk foods, you name it, needs to go. Mindful, remember, mindful, discipline, balance, reduce your toxins. All of these things are recommended. I counsel people on this. We go over programs. So anybody who wants to see me on this, please make an appointment with me, with Mary. These are very, very important points. Pregnenolone is the mother of the hormones, your testosterone. You need pregnenolone, and that builds up with growth hormone and so forth to make your testosterone. You need these things. Using Brussels sprouts. You don't have to buy DIM. The diindolylmethane methane is available, but you can get it through Brussels sprouts. I love them. I don't know how you feel about them, but they are fantastic, and that's where the product is taken. That's where the manufacturers get it, from the Brussels sprout. And most of your cruciferous vegetables are going to be your friends, for sure. They're going to help you. They're going to help your prostate, your heart. And of course, we have our community garden with Michael and all of our members of the outdoor team. Enemies of the body, we've said it again and again and again. When you eat meat, or particularly chicken, you are eating what they ate. And usually what they eat is genetically modified grain, if not worse. So if you want omega-6 fat in your body, which is coming from the genetically modified grain, and building up, you will have inflammation and eventually worse. So it's a highly inflammatory food. I don't recommend it. We have our cook in here, our wonderful Jeanette, and her partner, Jessie, who also is a cook, fantastic. Both of these people are helping with preparing some of the neatest plant foods around. So please see them in our cafe and enjoy the non-GMO stuff. So continuation, the list goes on and on and on. And again, I don't have enough time because, again, we're running out of time. So this is something you need to be aware of. Your plastics. You need to get rid of plastics. My son is on this with me. We have to clean up the plastics deal. Plastics, we eat approximately 1 credit card worth of plastic a week. A week. That's not good. Microplastics in everything. So how do we get it out of our food? How do we get it out of our water? We have to work at that. We have to boil things. We have to get organic foods and not advocate plastics. Tell your local markets to stop using them, all these junky packaging, single-use plastics. It's not good. Plastic forks, plastic bags, plastic everything, containers, we need to stop. And some horrible things come out of, the pools, chlorine, the dentist's office, fluoride, and bromine. These things are dangerous and they ruin our thyroid glands and every other gland. So please be aware of these things. Some of the best food choices. I'm a fan of the pescatarian type of diet. Again, it's a personal choice on your part, but as far as I'm concerned, we need to go back to primordial soup, which is our ocean. If you don't want to eat fish, you don't have to. They have a lot of omega-3s. They are a good source of protein. You don't have genetically modified whatever. They're not being injected with antibiotics and this and that, but it's your choice. But these are some of the foods that contain the omega fats, and then there are all the other things are just icing on the cake here, so to speak. Some of the nuts and the olives and the avocados and the grains, the ancient grains. These are fabulous foods. These are foods that we should be consuming on a regular basis. The avoidance of, I have no understanding why people are avoiding them. It's probably just either cultural or what everybody else is not doing, so we won't do them. So please be aware. Generally, our protein needs, it's very important that you know your proteins. If you are here to build muscle, you will generally go above a gram per kilogram, like 1.6. I don't advise anything beyond that. If you're talking 2 grams per kilogram or 2 grams per pound, no way. This will kill your kidneys and you will die young. So please be careful with your protein. Complex carbohydrates, go to town with them. They are absolutely essential, and anyone who has a brain in their head would not eliminate carbohydrates. There are too many scientists who have pointed out that this keto diet cannot be sustained. You cannot live with a low-carb diet. You will die young. And fats, anywhere from 500 to 100 grams, and there's monounsaturated, medium-chain triglycerides, and some saturated fats should be chosen. Here are some other suggestions on micronutrients. Niacinamide will bring up your nitric oxide. Resveratrol is an excellent flavonoid. It's found in berries and grapes. It is in wine, but I don't recommend because wine is alcohol, and we have fatty liver disease that's rampant, and alcohol doesn't make it any better. Berberine is wonderful. It is used for diabetes. It is an excellent antioxidant. It actually can help in many, many ways, even blood pressure. On and on. The vitamin D, please use vitamin D liberally. The scare about vitamin D being toxic is nonsense for the most part. We can measure your levels. Conventional medicine doesn't like to do that, but I will do that. And we need levels of 60 to 80 picograms per ml on our levels. But even up to 100 is wonderful. It will help protect you against viruses, cancer, autoimmune disease, and so on. Nattokinase, I recommend it highly. It helps prevent clots, especially in this day and age of injections and jabs. Nattokinase is extremely helpful. It will break down fibrin in your body. It is very, very good for blood pressure problems, and it is safe. Use it regularly. I use it myself. Shilajit is full of minerals. Anybody who likes the paste, it tastes pretty crappy, but you could use it. We have the pills in our market. And CoQ10, wonderful turmeric compounds, other things that are helpful for the heart, and thyroid function. Iodine is extremely important. Men who don't do fish and don't do iodine supplements are definitely at a loss. So please, seaweeds are good. So, in conclusion, okay, find out what your needs are. Okay? Find out. Know what your needs are, including your financial needs, because that is part of the balance and the happiness that we need and our vitality. If we don't have ourselves financially secure, we're feeling pretty crappy. And we lose vitality. Be loving. Intermittent fasting. We got somebody here who's a pro at it. I don't know how he does it, but this 22 hours he doesn't eat. But God help you. May all the power be with you. Vitamin C, reduction of atherosclerosis, arterial sclerosis, same thing. I can't say enough. We have infusions going on at our center. People are really benefiting from the infusions and vitamin C. You cannot get such high doses in the mouth. You'll have to have them infused with the amounts we give. Excellent for your immune system, heart, to grow your hair, skin, nails, your joints, joint protection. Remove your dental amalgams and root canals. They don't belong in the mouth. They are going to kill you. And using some of these other things to detoxify. Apple pectin is very good. Activated charcoal, you can use them every day of your life. I have Brussels sprouts here, in case you don't know what they look like. But anyhow, anybody who wants to take a look at these things, these are kimchi and all that is here. Thanks to Kathy, my cousin, she brought that all over. Here are some famous vegans, in case you didn't know. How many of you knew that Novak is vegan? The man is amazing. He's an animal. Woody Harrelson, yeah, Stevie Wonder, and yeah, they're just. These are just some. I think you know these people. We need to eat to live. And that's just the bottom line. If you don't, you're looking for trouble in your vital organs. Your prostate is begging for you to eat well. The more meat you eat, the more junk you eat, the larger your prostate becomes, the harder it gets, and we're looking for trouble in the prostate. So if you don't want that, you need to back off of those things. I can't say enough about that. Plants will save people's lives, but they have to be good plants too. So there you go. Kyle, you're right up there, right on the list. And I think that is it for our talk. Please visit the cafe. Jeanette, would you stand up with Jesse? Two of you, please. Please. These two people are wonderful. They've added to our cafe. They're here with hearts and spirits that I can't thank them enough. And Kathy, my cousin over there, over yonder to your right, she manages the cafe. She helps them out anytime they need. And I can't thank them enough for all they do. Please visit our cafe. It is pretty much plant-based, and plant-based has a spectrum. You can be completely vegan, but you need not be. If you can add other animal foods in there, but if it's predominantly plants, you're in a better position. This is just kind of a sample of our menu, and it changes with seasons. And this is a very talented lady who knows how to be innovative in her cooking and creations, and she studied nutrition, so I can't be happier with someone like her. So, any questions that anybody has?
I do fast every week, and I was reading about, they said when we fast at least 36 hours, that's when the most beneficial is, because the body broke the autophagy, I think it's called.
Autophagy, yes.
So which means is you start removing dead cells on your body.
Correct. It starts at about 16th hour. 16th hour. Yeah.
I read several places they said 36 hours.
That's 20 more hours. There would be much more going on at 36, but generally at the 16th mark, you're good. If you can do even 20 hours or so, that should be sufficient. But if you fast each week, all the power to you. The body can definitely take it, provided that you give your body the nutrients it needs on the days that you aren't fasting. So you make sure that you get enough.
Also, the side benefits also they said when you fast, your testosterone goes up.
Testosterone can go up, that is correct. There are a number of things to do for the increase in the testosterone to improve your life and overall condition, yes. And fasting, some people fast for days. And that's really, that stimulates stem cell production and even can cure a lot of ailments, cancer included. So we do a lot of that. So this is where I'm trying to end this health check at least once a year. Plan your schedule, put down the cell phone. Here's another thing that if you don't have one, this is something that you should probably invest in. It's an EMF meter. This one is called Safe and Sound Pro 2. Right now I have, I'm picking up high numbers, not the worst, but there are high numbers because there is some Wi-Fi in here. So if your house is on high, like that red is constant in the rooms or wherever you are, wherever you dwell, you need to change it. So right now we're kind of sitting in the middle of people with cell phones on and Wi-Fi's going, so the numbers are up. This is not something that I like to see, but we have it. And it's important that you know that these things exist. You should, I think everyone should have one of these. This is Safe Living Technologies, and there are others. There are other companies that make these little EMF meters. There's a Tri-Field that you probably should look into. So these are all for your benefit, to check your EMF exposures. If you are in too much of a radiation field, you need to change it. Reduce your exposures. So all technology, all these lights, everything is affecting us. So we're going to get out of here in a minute. So these are the things, again, all is suggested to you. Be proactive, get involved now. Do something. If they even think of putting another cell tower around here, you're going to see this person in all the rage. I will go absolutely, and I would like if everybody joined me, because we are all in danger if we just let it keep going as it is. So this story goes on and on and on, and I can't, I have to stop myself because I keep talking, but these are important. It's so important, and the sooner that we make these moves individually and collectively as a community, the better we're going to be. Om all the way. Thank you, everyone.
Diane, do you want to say a few words?